So recently, a little controversy erupted on the Functional Bodybuilding Facebook group around this one movement that's been a favorite of mine for years. See, my mission is to help people get strong, look good, and move well in ways that make their bodies feel amazing, especially if they've been burned by high-intensity fitness and lots of wear and tear in the past. So I'm always thoughtful about which movements help you do that. But some people say that the Turkish Get Up is too slow, they don't like it, or it's boring and doesn't feel good. So if you want to learn more about why this movement is so beneficial, how to do it better, and how to use it in your training for an incredible core, shoulder strength, and stability, then let's get started. All right, we're diving right into the technique. I'm going to show you 5 key positions of the Turkish Get Up and how we connect those positions with subtle technique cues. Here we go. We're setting up on the floor, and position number 1 of the Turkish Get Up always begins with one arm up and the same knee bent. So I'm going right knee bent, right arm directly over my shoulder. Then move into position 2. Position 2, my opposite leg is straight, my hand is directly over my shoulder, and I'm supporting my weight on my opposite hand. Position 3, I'm going to bridge my hips up. Bridge up, position 3. Position 4, sweep my leg underneath onto my knee and come into a lunging position. And then finally, position 5, I stand up to the top. Hand over the shoulder, standing vertical, my weight is balanced. You should always keep your gaze up at the kettlebell. And then if we're going to return back down, I'm going to go to position 4, and then position 3, position 2, and then slowly back to position 1. All right, let's talk about how to get from position 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. How do we connect those, and what are the movement cues you should be thinking about so that you stay safe, you get the most effective training with the Turkish Get Up, the right muscles get worked, and we build great shoulders. Number 1, when you're getting into position 1, this is actually one of the things that oftentimes gets done wrong, and I'll show on this left side. But getting the kettlebell into position typically is done the most safe by rolling onto your side, gathering the kettlebell here, and then rolling into position. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate this on the right side. So from position 1, right arm, right knee bent. Place your left hand out to the side, and you're going to use the opposite arm and the opposite side of your body to roll ever so slightly. So I push through my right leg, push the right arm up to the ceiling, roll to my left, and then I'm performing what will feel like a side or oblique crunch, and I'm going to push off this elbow, push off this hand, and now I'm in position 2. Right now I'm feeling a good amount of the weight in my left arm. I'm feeling a good amount of the weight, or at least pressure, through my right foot. These are my 2 anchor points. My shoulder and my hand are stacked right on top of each other, and I'm feeling all of the weight right through this shoulder girdle, the right side. Next, I want to bridge into position 3. So to bridge up into position 3, I have weight on my left hand, and I'm going to press down with this right foot. I'm going to drive through my heel, and that I'm going to feel my glutes engage. I'm lifting my hips up, and that is all that happens to get into position 3. Now, from position 3 to get to position 4, I'm going to sweep my heel, my left heel, right past the heel of my right foot. A mistake that commonly gets made is people come this way, and we want to bring your heel in, hook it right past the other heel, and now I drop that knee directly below my hips, more or less directly below the kettlebell. Now I feel stacked, I feel very, very grounded, good foundation, and I can come up into that 4th position, which is essentially just a lunge or a split squat position on this side. Last but not least, I'm going to maybe adjust my foot position so that I feel strong so I can press through this forward leg, and I stand up into an overhead position. It's essentially just a lunge on the way up. So that completes position 5. And to return back down, I would step back, position 4. Now I want to go into position number 3. So I come back into the lunge, I set my hand back to the side, not forward, but to the side. So now I have this wide position between my hand and my foot, and I will sweep that leg back through into this hips up position. This was position 3. Drop my butt down, come all the way back through position 2 into position 1. So that covers the main technique points. I want to review the 3 most common mistakes. The first one is, as I'm in position, rather than coming to the side, which would be correct, people try and sit straight up forward. That is going to put a tremendous amount of load on your abs, which is not a bad thing, but it can be very difficult to overcome and can lead to people getting tweaks in their low back. So use the side, press up through the arm into position 2. The second common mistake that we see is from here, people bridge up, try and bring their legs straight back instead of sweeping it by their heel. And then lastly, on the way down, the most common mistake I see is people reaching back behind them, which then gets their leg trapped underneath them. So don't reach back behind you, but instead place the hand out to the side so you have plenty of room to release your foot in front of you so that you can come back to the floor. Now I know you're here to learn about Turkish get-ups, but I also have a nutrition tip for you because nutrition, just like training, are both key to your health and fitness success. Now this episode is sponsored by Transparent Labs, and I've got a killer Ninja Creamy recipe so that you can get some high protein, low calorie ice cream into your life using Transparent Labs grass-fed whey. Check it out. What if I told you this had 40 grams of protein and less than 300 calories? You could have it every single day.
24 hours later.
Now that you've satisfied your sweet tooth with some ice cream, let's get back to some Turkish get-ups. The Turkish get-up is one of the most impactful exercises I've ever used to build strong, healthy shoulders. When I had shoulder injuries back in my competitive CrossFit days, Turkish get-up was always an exercise I came back to heal this, as well as build more endurance and more stability in the shoulder. The reason for that is as you go through positions 1 through 5, you take the shoulder in a straight arm supported position under load through various angles. When you're training straight arm strength through various angles, you're developing the rotator cuff muscles, you're developing a lot of mobility and stability, both things which are so impactful to your training and keeping you bulletproof and healthy for the long term. It's for that reason I love to incorporate Turkish get-ups as a preparatory exercise in warm-ups. I also love to use them as a strength balance exercise. This would be an exercise that you perform strength training sets in the 3 to 5 rep range after you've done your very intense lifts like a shoulder press or a bench press. You do upper body training, you take those muscles to failure, and then afterwards you use moderate or light weights to work on your shoulder health, stability, and accessory muscles that support the shoulder girdle. In functional bodybuilding, when we perform conditioning workouts, oftentimes you'll see people doing cardio right next to weight training. And one of the things that we love to preach is managing your intensity levels, not going so hard and so high intensity that you lose control and quality of your movement. Implementing movements like the Turkish Get Up into conditioning is a great way to get people to slow their heart rate down and focus on strength and stability. It's why I love incorporating them. They are a total body breather. If you do 10 Turkish Get Ups alternating from arm to arm consecutively with good form, you will start to feel your heart rate elevate, your respiratory rate elevate, but you'll also be getting a full body strength workout. I hope that today's lesson gave you a reason to try the Turkish Get Up, to learn how to execute it well. And if you want to see how we incorporate the Turkish Get Up into functional bodybuilding, try Persist today for free. The link is down in the description below. 14 days and you'll see how we bring movements like this into your daily training.